Hello, welcome to Ginny's Gin, and it's that time of year. I'm Ginny, and along with my husband Rob and our dearest friends Amy and Jeff Close, we founded Ginny's Gin a few years ago. And so here we are, we find ourselves, it's the holiday season. Unfortunately, our shelter-in-place, stay-at-home order goes into effect at, basically midnight tonight, so Saturday morning. So it's not going to be quite as festive as we might have hoped, but guess what? You have plenty of time to be mixing up cocktails at home, and so we have some pretty festive ones for you. Obviously, in keeping with the season, I'm going to stick with the red look, and of course, you know, what's more festive than cranberries? So, you know, cranberries, they're basically a cocktail that you make with cranberries tastes like Christmas feels. And so the first thing, I've been actually very busy in the kitchen this week, and the first things I did is I made a Christmas cranberry Ginny's Gin. So what you do with this, you can see it's already got this beautiful color already. So I took I didn't have enough cranberries, so I took 100 grams of cranberries and then 100 grams of sugar. What you do is you prick the cranberries, each and every one of them, because that releases the juices, obviously. And then you throw in the sugar, 1 to 1, basically. And then I actually threw in the zest of some orange as well, because I know we've talked about the flavor Bible before, and you know, this is sort of our go-to, if you like. So when you look up cranberries, it says in capital letters, those are the flavor affinities that are best. Orange and lemon come up, and actually ginger and honey too. So I think maybe, you know, later on I might do something with that. So there's some orange zest in there as well. So now that you've put them all together, the gin, the cranberries, and the orange, you're going to store it in a dark place. You want to do this ahead of time. You need it to be infusing.
A dark place like California post-COVID.
So you need put it in a dark place. The best thing is to fill the jar all the way up, or bottle, whatever you're using, but leave about an inch gap, because the cranberries do sort of expand with the juices. This one I've had going for about a week. So next week, what I'm going to do is I will make cocktails with this Ginny's Gin cranberry Christmassy fabulousness. And this is actually something you can do. It's kind of cute. You can make these up and you can give them as Christmas gifts. It's kind of fun. And I smelt it, and I did have a little taste, I confess, a little earlier, and it just tastes really good. So that's the Christmas gin, the cranberry Christmas gin. You know, the other thing to do when you think about it, just shake it up maybe once a day to keep it all going and get this wonderful infusion, not only of the colour, but obviously of all the flavours as well as the cranberry. So that's the Christmas gin. And I'm actually going to make a cocktail with cranberry juice, and of course I made our own cranberry juice. We didn't buy it. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, buy the cranberry juice, that's fine. But it's actually super simple to make cranberry juice. So I took basically 4 cups of cranberries and 4 cups of water, again 1 to 1. I bring it to a boil, and then you basically put the lid on the saucepan, and you leave it. It takes about 20 minutes, but it all boils up, and the cranberries pop, and so they release all their juices and everything. And then I strained that, and I added more orange zest and also lemon zest, and then also the juice of half a lemon and half an orange as well. The flavor affinity is really good with the cranberries. And I let that boil together, and then took it off the heat, and then just let it cool down. So the lemon and the orange infused with cranberry syrup. And this is the cranberry syrup. What you do is you obviously strain it all, and
Sugar?
Sugar, yes, that was, oh yeah, so didn't I say that? No, I beg your pardon, I didn't. Thank you, very good. You've got to put some sugar in there too. All right, so I put 3/4 of a cup of sugar to my 4 cups of cranberry, and then I did 1/4 cup each of lemon and orange juice, and then the zest. But look at that, great colour, such a Christmassy colour. So there's my cranberry juice. All right, so the cocktail that I am making for this is, I'm just going to call it, what am I going to call it? Christmas in a glass. How about that? Okay, so, you know, you can keep your shakers in the freezer as we obviously, you know, tell you to do. Keep it nice and cold. I'm using a mason jar, which you could also keep in the freezer so that, you know, your cocktail's super cold. So we're going to add some ice to this first. Here it is. So I don't know what you guys are going to do, you know, with a slightly restricted, well, very restricted holiday season, but let me know some of your ideas, whether you're going to be doing Zoom with your family or, I don't know, we'll just eat, drink and be as merry as we can, right? Okay, so gin. Gin is gin, of course, and I'm going to put 2 ounces of gin is gin in my mason jar. There it is. 2 ounces of that. And the gin's super cold as well. And then the cranberry juice, I'm going to do equal amounts, so 2 ounces of cranberry juice. And you can play around, you know, we're not sort of insisting that you have to do these particular measurements. You know, if you like something more sugary, or if you like it less sugary, then you can do, you know, whatever you like. We're not going to add simple syrup to this because we already have sugar in the cranberry juice. All right, what am I doing next? I'm going to do an ounce of lemon juice. And Rob, very kindly, got a little beaten up getting the lemons from our tree. You had to go up fairly high for them, I think. And finally, we actually have some good lemons, so that's kind of cool. So I'm going to do an ounce of lemon with my lemon squeezer. There it is, and they're nice and juicy, Rob, and they smell fabulous. So thank you for getting the lemons for us. There we go. Okay, there's that. There's the lemon. And again, the orange, you know, with the orange going well with the cranberry, I'm going to add Grand Marnier. So you could do Cointreau, you could do orange liqueur, any kind of, you know, curacao, orange curacao. In this case, I have Grand Marnier, and I barely have enough. And I think I have my 1 ounce. So there we go. So 2, 2, 1, 1 basically is the recipe. There it is, 1 ounce. Ooh, gonna have to buy some more Grand Marnier. Okay. All right, so we're going to shake this up, get it nice and cold. If you prefer to stir it, that's fine as well. Obviously, we're trying to get it as cold as possible. There we go. Okay, shake it. Nice, simple recipe. Produces this great colour. Look at that. It's a Christmas tree. Bit more? Okay. And I'm going to strain it and pour it over crushed ice. So if you don't have one of those fancy refrigerators that make crushed ice, then you can take some regular ice and beat the hell out of it. And that's what I did. So here's my crushed, beaten ice. If you're doing it for friends, obviously you would use tongs, but only us here. Nice crushed ice. There we go. Let's go ahead and pour some in, and then I can add a little bit more crushed ice as need be. Look at that color. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more. The crushed ice for the effect. And more. There. Okay, that's my crushed ice. So what I really like about this is the garnish for this. So we're going to take 3 nice looking cranberries, fresh cranberries, and pop those on top like this. And then I've got a little bit of powdered sugar, and I'm going to sprinkle it like this so it looks like it's snow on top of the cranberries, which is kind of cute. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but
That's a lot.
there we go. It's kind of cute. And then I'm going to put a little sprig of mint. How cute is that? And I have a little ornament for a, so there we go. I don't know if you can see that terribly well, but that's our Christmassy cranberry cocktail. And I was only going to do one cocktail, but something happened this week, and I simply have to do one more cocktail, Rob, and I apologise.
Oh, I'll just do next week.
He's he already doesn't like it because I go first, right? So, but I do have to tell you this. Okay, so a dear friend of mine, Michael Savage, he is a longtime friend and a hiking buddy, and we've been hiking together for 25 years. And on Wednesday, we were hiking up the old Lawley toll road, and it's fairly steep, and I do have to say that Michael is 86 now, and I damn well hope that I am still hiking up hills when I am that age as well. So well done, Michael. I think it's brilliant, and I really enjoy our walks, not just for the physical aspect, but I always love your advice and our conversations. We've known each other for so long. Anyway, so prior to this walk on Wednesday, I had been noticing as we drive up and down our driveway, it's fairly steep, there is this prickly pear cactus that is sort of hanging into our driveway, and I saw these 2 prickly pears, and they're sort of getting riper and riper, and I thought to myself, I wonder whether, you know, I should do something about that. Last time that I ever had prickly pear was in Malta in 1976, and I'd gone on holiday with my mother and father, and my middle sister, my older sisters, but she's the middle one, with her husband and daughter, and they rented this villa in Malta, and there were these prickly pear, these cactuses all over the place, and the owner of the villa very kindly showed us how to open the prickly pear, and Sandra reminded me actually that he had these very heavy black gloves that he used to do it. Anyway, so going back now to our walk, so Michael and I are walking, about halfway along, I spy this incredible, they call them paddle cactus as well, because you know they have these sort of paddles, they look like paddles, that's the shape of them, and it was just completely covered with these red prickly pears. And I said to Mike, okay, so I sort of hiked up to where they were, and I knew that they had hairs, I knew that, you know, they were a problem, so I had taken my, my jacket actually has hands that come over, so I put my hands over, and I just sort of knocked them off, you know, they were ripe enough, and I knocked off a couple, and they sort of rolled down towards Michael, and he picked them up, which, you know, shouldn't happen really. Sorry, Michael, I will forever be so sorry. So anyway, so we picked them up, and then I carried them with my hands covered, and I sort of held them like this, and we walked, you know, back down the hill, and so what I didn't realize is these prickles are very, very fine, and they're hair-like, and they get into everything, and it's just horrible. So Michael had them in his hands, I had them in my tummy. When I knocked the first one off, it actually landed sort of here, so I had prickles all over here as well, and there was lots of funny conversations about that, obviously. And so anyway, so I got these bloody things back, and obviously went straight to the garage and got gloves so that I could handle it. And the 2 that I picked up were actually partially rotten inside, so I was like, oh my god, after all that. So then I remembered that we had these 2 prickly pears up in the driveway, and so I hiked up our driveway, and I grabbed those, and they were perfect. Those 2 were just the perfect ripeness. So I Googled how to prepare them, and I had gloves on at this point, obviously. And I never want to see a prickly pear ever again, to be honest with you. I'm never going to do that again. But, so I don't have a prickly pear here for you now, but we're going to pretend that this is a prickly pear, because if you do want to handle it, and you do have the gloves and everything, what you do is you take it, even with the glove, and then you slit down like this through here, and then you fold it back, and then you just keep folding it, and it opens up, and then all the flesh is inside. You take the flesh out, you discard the peel, obviously, and then you just put it in a juicer, you know, run it through, and you get all this wonderful juice out of it. And look at the colour of this. I have to show you this. It's sort of this bright orange. It's stunning. I would call that a reddish orange actually, or an orangey red, if you look at the difference. So it's quite orange, and I love it. And it actually tastes really good too. So, all right, so I'm going to put this one to the side here. So I'm going to make you a prickly pear, which is seasonal. Obviously, it's right in season right now. So as you know, we love to use seasonal ingredients. So here's my cocktail. It's really simple too. All right, let's start with gin, shall we? Okay, so here's another mason jar with some ice in it. And this is a martini. So we're going to strain this into a martini glass. And it tastes good, but I'm not sure if it's good enough for me to want to do that again after all the thing. Oh, and Michael, by the way, I am still finding prickles all over the place. Yeah, it was not good. It took me about an hour to get most of the prickles out of my stomach. Because they look like fine hairs. I'm like pulling on hairs as well as prickly hairs as well. Okay, so here's my... Okay, so I'm going to do 3 ounces of Ginny's gin, because I think that's your reward for dealing with a prickly pear. And there's 2, and there's 1. Okay, and again, what goes nicely with the prickly pear juice is an orange flavour. So first of all, let's put the prickly pear syrup in. So to make the syrup, what I did is I took, as I say, I took the flesh, I mushed it all up, and then I added sugar to it and a little orange as well. But yeah, it's really good. Okay, so how much of the syrup? Prickly pear syrup, 1 ounce. Let's do that. 3 ounces of gin. 1 ounce. There we go. I think I'd already measured that. Yeah, I had. Look at that. Okay. Gorgeous colour. All right. There's that. And then I'm going to add ½ an ounce of Cointreau or Curacao. I have orange Curacao. I didn't have any Cointreau left, and I just used the Grand Marnier. So here's my orange liqueur. Basically, that's what you want. And I'm going to do ½ an ounce of that. There we go. And there's the orange. And last but not least, I'm going to do ½ an ounce of lemon as well. Let's pop this here. The other side. Lemon from the garden. Prickly pear from the driveway. There we go. Alright, and there is my ½ an ounce. Oh, do you like the decorations? I thought we'd make it a little festive. Okay, there's that. There's my lemon. Right, and we're going to shake it all up with a few things of ice. It's super cold. And as I've mentioned before, your martini glass should actually be in the freezer. And you should pull it out just before. We're going to call this one, let's see, a really prickly pain is what it is. Can I borrow this and then I'll clean it for you?
Yeah, I'm just going to do one next week.
Oh, I'm nearly done. Stop whining. Good grief. Okay, so look at the colour of that. I love that colour. There we go. And we're going to take some maraschino cherry and pop this across there. I don't know if you can see that terribly well. So there's the prickly pear cocktail. Prickly pain in the arse, actually. Pain in the stomach, pain in the hands. It was painful everywhere. All right, so seasonal and festive, and Rob now, who's almost fallen asleep, is going to do his very seasonal cocktail, and I know he's excited to show you this. And take it away, Rob. Big sigh, big sigh. There we go. Put that over here. All right, he's grabbing his, and leave that like that. I'll be back.
Okay, all right. Very chill champagne glass, right? And I'm gonna make a Yuzu Fizz. So I love Yuzu. It's a Southeast Asian kind of small like lime that's kind of lemon, grapefruity, funky, and they're beloved in Japan where I was introduced to them. And they're really hard to get, and you can buy Yuzu juice, which I did for today. But I planted a little yuzu tree this spring, and we had 2 yuzu on there, and one of them was ready about 2 weeks ago, and I used it to make ponzu sauce. And the other one I picked 3 nights ago,
Yeah.
and it was really, really good, and it was very, very concentrated. So what I did was I mixed 2 ounces of gin with a 1/2 ounce of sake, 1/2 ounce of lemon, 1/4 ounce of yuzu because it's very powerful. 1/2 ounce simple syrup, shook it up with an egg white, and made a really beautiful fizz, and then put just a little bit of club soda. So today I bought some Yakima Orchard from Sunshine Market, which we love. Hi, Henry. And it's not quite as concentrated as my little fresh yuzus, but it still has the right flavor. So I mixed up 1/2 lemon juice and 1/2 Yakima Orchard yuzu juice for this. And I need my shaking tin, por favor. It's cold in the freezer. It's the one on the top. And I've got some carbonated water. I didn't buy club soda, just carbonated my own. So I've got that. And I got a little bit of egg white. And I've got some simple syrup. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some nice cold Ginny's gin. It's actually a really tasty drink. And we're gonna, you could definitely do an 1/2 ounce of gin, but now that we've been drinking a little bit every day for 8 months, actually I haven't had a drink in 3 days, but most of the time our tolerance is a bit up, so I always make 2 ounce cocktails now. So 2 ounces of gin. And then
2 ounces.
Yeah, and so I mixed this equal. There's 1.5 ounces of each. The lemon juice and the lemon came from it's maybe the best lemon of the year, our lemon tree today. And I mixed it 1/2 and 1/2 with the other juice. So then we're gonna do a full ounce, which would be 1/2 ounce of each. I used a little bit less when I did the one from the garden because it was so strong. And then we're gonna do just a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. Yeah. Call it 0.6. 0.6. And then we're gonna do the equivalent of 1 egg white, which would be 1 ounce of egg white. So there'll be like hecka nice froth. Always put the egg whites in a squirt bottle, makes them really easy to deploy and measure. So if you were doing like a 1/2 ounce, you could just squirt that much in. So everything is pretty much in the pool except for and I don't want anybody to see the brand because I'm going to call this cheap ass sake. But it's not like super special sake, but it's pretty good cooking sake, and I think that's nice for this drink. So about a 1/2 ounce of sake. And because like in keeping with the yuzu and the whole Japanese theme today. And then we're going to give it a dry shake just to kind of, even though the tins are cold, so we can kind of get it really frothy before we put the ice in, because the ice will not let it froth as much. And then we're gonna open the tin, and we're gonna put in my big ice cubes. Yeah. 1 big ice cube. And 2 small. And I've done this where I did like 3 small ice cubes or 3 big, and never get as much froth and never get as cold as you do with 1 big ice cube and 2 small. So that's why I do that. And then, honey, help.
And it all went dog.
So when I banged the thing, the
my
phone
God.
fell over, and then there went our whole audio visual department went down. Okay. Nice and cold. Come on, baby. And then into our champagne, and I probably have easily a full cocktail, but I want to, yeah, that's perfect. That's the perfect height because just underneath of that, now I have to let the pressure out of my carbonated water. We're just going to slide a little bit of that right underneath of the foam to give it some lift and give it a little bit of tiny bit of carbonation. Look at that.
Yum.
I actually went over right under my wife's lovely tablecloth.
It's fine, I've got to wash it anyway, so.
I saved it.
Cointreau.
There's that. And
It's
then
like snow.
lemon garnish with, because I think it really goes nice together, a little Thai basil.
Put
And
here and I'll do
the
it.
piece de la resistance would be from our, and then this is really important. You know, when you buy lemons in the store, often they have wax. And so, like if you're making lemon sorbet or you're putting lemon zest for cooking any purposes, you're going to end up with a little bit of wax floating on the top of your syrup. So it's really good to use like organic or non-waxed or garden ones like this. And so this is perfect. And so we're just going to take a little bit of zest. And I did it with the yuzu the other day and it was so good, but this is the lemon.
Yummy.
Just a little bit of lemon zest on top, and that wasn't quite enough. There we go. And this is our Ginny's Yuzu Fizz.
Let me bring this up. Maybe you guys can see how pretty that is. Can you see?
You need to be over.
I can't see from here.
Yeah, over there. I guess. I don't know. All I can see is me. Oh, there it is. That's so funny. Yeah.
All right.
We need technical support.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Anyway, so there's our fizz.
There are
Ginny's
drinks.
2 fabulous Christmas drinks. Mine's only seasonal because our yuzus just finally became ripe now. So that's why it's seasonal, because they're in season.
Right.
Anyway,
Look at all the different colours. That's great.
happy
Well, let's have a cheers.
happy re-quarantined or whatever we are.
Back in the...
Yeah. Nothing's really changed other than the poor restaurants and bars. Or
I know,
now
we
they
feel
can't
for you
even do
guys.
outdoor dining. But
Yeah, no.
it's too cold for that anyway, so it's nothing's really changed. I mean,
Sorry, guys.
yeah.
Next week will be our last live stream in 2020. We'll have some more festive stuff for you. We'll take a break on Christmas
Look how much
Day.
froth is on that. It almost looks like a
Yeah, it's
meringue.
Yeah, it does look like a
Yeah.
dessert,
I'm
doesn't
going to
it?
end up with a white mustache.
Okay. Got froth.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we'll see you next week. Hang in there, everybody, and try and enjoy the festivities as best you can, and get on those Zoom calls with your friends and family, and I guess that's what we'll be doing. So, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, and a last note.
Cheers.
The reason why people put a little, like Thai basil, for example, or even lemon zest on top of egg whites is, I haven't really experienced it that much, but sometimes egg whites can have a bit of an off aroma. And so you bitters or lemon zest or something to always make sure that that doesn't happen. In this case, it just smells really good. Cheers.
Cheers. Make your cocktails at home. Cheers.
Excellent. White mustache. That's a good one.
Bye, guys.